Let's observe silence for a few minutes. Om. So currently we are studying chapter number 6. It's called the middle path. And we have read the first three topics: examine life, action and peace, and the third topic, which we read last week, survey your predecessors. So we had a brief discussion on the third topic, survey your predecessors. So any doubts from that topic, or you want me to explain something? See, that Roman proverb you need to underline is very important. The wise learn from the experiences of others, and fools from their own. So basically, it's telling us to learn from the world. I mean, better not make mistakes. That's not a way to function. And this is what we are learning. Vedanta is nothing but guidelines for life. And without these guidelines, how can you manage life? See, that is where people they falter, they make mistakes, isn't it? Because there are no guiding principles. So when we were kids, let's say from age 4, 5 till 16, 17, 18. So we are under the control of our parents, and rightly so, because intellect is not developed, it's all mind. From 12, 13, 14 onwards, intellect kicks in, but it takes a while. So parents are guiding us, assuming they are capable of guiding, but there is somebody to monitor our activities. So if you are going in the wrong direction, your parents will tell you, your grandparents will tell you, your relatives will tell you, elders will tell you. But once you cross 17, 18, 19, there is nobody to guide you in life. So your guiding principles are the scriptures. And also, the English literature is interesting. So we discussed. See, the basic problem is selfishness. That was the conclusion in this topic. And then how that selfishness continues, that leads to the next topic, which is called as negative trait. So you need to learn from the mistakes of others. So you see in the world what is happening, people who don't have a guide, what path they are treading is quite obvious if you have this knowledge. And also, if you see something positive, you should emulate. So therefore, I gave that example of, yesterday's class. I think most of you were there, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita class. Whose example I gave? See, it is the principle we are discussing. It's not the personality.
Ajay.
Who is he? A 25-year-old boy?
Amit.
अजय
Ajay or Amit, I don't remember.
अभी बोला किसने अजय
Yeah, Ajay. Yeah, whatever name, doesn't matter. What is in the name? Rose is a rose. You can call it by whatever name. See, it's the principle. We're not interested in any personality here. So it is worth emulating. Also, when you see something negative, it should serve as a warning for all of us. The standard example we give is why relationships are falling apart. Now, you can clearly see it in the world. It will apply to every other couple, especially those who are born and brought up in this part of the world, that they go on claiming their rights. So it is destroying the institution of family, such a beautiful institution, isn't it? Supposed to help you, but the moment you start functioning on rights, there is a problem, and we can see it in the life. So you can come out with your own examples. So that is the conclusion. With the fall of human intellect, with the fall of the intellect, humans have en bloc turned self-centered, selfish, and the society has become unrighteous, immoral, corrupt. Individuals, communities, and nations are all operating with self-centered motives. The accent is on taking, aggrandizing, hoarding at the expense of others. That is worst. Any individual, community, or nation that is driven by selfish motives perishes. And that built on selfless human values flourishes. It is a law of life. The trait continues, which has brought humanity to the brink of extinction. So that leads to the next topic, the negative trait, and how it manifests in our life, day-to-day life. So are we okay with this topic? Any doubts? All good. Excellent. Negative trait. Yeah, you can play it, Raji.
The negative trait. This trait in the human species expresses as two insatiable motivations, that is, to acquire and to enjoy. Every human being is driven through his lifetime by these two selfish motivations. For example, one acquires a house and enjoys living in it. Another acquires a tennis court and enjoys playing in it. The list is endless, and the thirst is insatiable. The more you acquire, the more you want to acquire. And the more you enjoy, the more you want to enjoy. When is enough? Enough. Bereft of intellectual governance, the mind pursues these motivations on and on. And the desires for acquisition and enjoyment linger, causing mental agitation, stress all through life. The solution to this problem is to give a lift to your personality by strengthening the intellect. Let the intellect monitor the mind's incessant craving. There is no objection to acquisition, but let not your present happiness be dependent on future acquisition. Learn to be content with what you have. You may then acquire more as per your competence and capacity. Similarly, there is no objection to enjoyment. Only ensure your intellect checks your sensual enjoyment to avoid saturation. Through careful regulation and moderation by the intellect, you may continue enjoying the senses.
So important points. So how self-centeredness manifests in our life? This is what he's discussing. That's the thought flow. So there are two main motivations, selfish motivations. Acquire, enjoy, acquire, enjoy. So there are people, most people in fact, they live life just to acquire and enjoy. Now, we are not saying you should not acquire, you should not enjoy. You cannot live life without acquisition, without enjoyment. I mean, then you're a piece of wood, I mean, you're stone. But the problem is greed. The greed, avarice, craving, lust, you can use any word. So that greed is the problem. Sanskrit word for that is trishna. In Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya tells us, like, give up that trishna for wealth. He doesn't say give up wealth. And that is where people, they have misunderstood any religion. So they feel that, we're not supposed to acquire anything, we're not supposed to enjoy anything. I mean, how can you live life like that? It's impossible. So there is nothing wrong in acquisition and enjoyment. Problem is that selfish attitude with which you pursue acquisition and enjoyment. Do you get the difference? So there are two different things. And once that craving comes, once you are victimized by craving or greed, the problem starts. Then there is no end to acquisition, there is no end to enjoyment. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So we often talk about Ravana's example from Ramayana. It's all symbolic. That he had all the acquisition, he had all the enjoyments in the world. But he was a frustrated man at the end of the day. He wanted something else. That brought about his final downfall. So it's not that one fine day you may bring about your downfall. Before that, you live a life of mental agitations and frustration and whatnot. And also the psychology of the mind is mind can never be satiated. All of you know this concept. You may acquire the whole world, you want more. You may enjoy all types of enjoyments, you want more. See, personally, I have known people who must have gone on like major cruises in the world I'm talking about, anywhere between 15 to 20. Minimum, it could be more. We're not saying it is wrong. I mean, once in a while you want to go see Antarctica or something. I mean, fine, you love nature. But I'm talking about people who have done all whatever premium cruises are there. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I keep hearing from them Viking and all that. The names are deadly, you know. Somewhere in the Europe they go, the river cruise, then Five Nation cruise, the Antarctica, and National Geographic tour, and 1520. And still they are planning. Some of them, they are in the age group of around 82 to 85. And next 5 years, they're booked. 2 cruises a year. I mean, are you going to live? I mean, there is no guarantee. For you and me, there is no guarantee. Forget about, nothing to do with age. So that sort of selfish pursuit we are talking about. So there is no satisfaction. And due to this, people live life of sorrow and mental agitations. And when it is extreme, it leads to frustration. So he is giving us a solution also. So do not link present happiness to future acquisition and enjoyment. That's the key. It's not that you should not acquire, you should not enjoy. Whatever you have at this moment. See, nobody is hungry here. I mean, in this classroom I'm talking about. We don't have to worry about a roof on the head. We don't have to worry about our transportation. I mean, everything is there. So enjoy that, be content with that. And then as you keep working in the world for higher cause in your own field, in your own profession, automatically things will be added on to you. More wealth will come to you, more comforts will come to you. And if you feel it is necessary, you can always upgrade. This is where people they misunderstand. That you should continue living in the small house. I mean, if that is your requirement, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you are happy in a 1 bedroom house, 2 bedroom house, I mean, why you need anything bigger? Yeah, I seen my parents; they were absolutely comfortable in 1 bedroom house. So I forced them to go for a 2 bedroom house. I mean, for my reason. I mean, at least I can get my own room. I don't want to sleep in the living room. But they were content. So you have to go by where you find happiness. You may have a palace. I mean, why not? You're enjoying that. So be happy with that. Don't link your happiness to, okay, I have a palace now, so I need a summer palace. My regular main house is like a palace, so I need a summer palace now, somewhere, I don't know, on the Lake Michigan. So this is the mistake people are making. I hope you get the point. Your whole life you are linking your present happiness to future acquisition and enjoyment. So when are you going to live life? So if you are living in a 2 bedroom house, I mean, enjoy. There are people who don't even have a house. So how lucky we are compared to such people. And if there is a need, if your finances support, I mean, there's nothing wrong in upgrading to a next level. But don't keep waiting that, I mean, when I acquire 3 bedroom house, I'll be happy. You may not acquire, perhaps. So does that mean you'll be miserable in your whole life? So you can go on multiplying these examples. The day I become a CEO of a company, I'll be happy. Or whatever is your ambition and goal, there's nothing wrong in being ambitious, but till you become let's say, head of the department or a CEO of a company, I mean, does that mean you'll be miserable? That means whole life. When can you become a CEO? I mean, maybe after 20 years, 25 years, whatever. So it's a very, very practical advice he's giving. Do not link present happiness to future acquisition. Nothing wrong in acquisition and enjoyment. This is where people are misunderstanding. And same formula applies even for enjoyment. Whatever amenities you have, you enjoy. And also, if you have surplus, which most of us have surplus, I can't think of any person who doesn't have surplus. In fact, it is surplus plus plus plus. You can go on adding pluses. So if you start indulging, you lose joy. Again, go by your own experience. But if you live a life of moderation, frugality, whole life you will be happy. The moment you indulge, initially you get that kick, then you lose that joy in any contact. And also, this attitude agitates you. No, I want more, I want more, I want more, So you're never really in the present. So your productivity is affected due to mental agitations. That is the science behind it. So to be successful, to be productive, you need to give your level best to the present task. I think in the retreat we studied this. It was in success. Very useful topic for youngsters and for everybody. But I had intentionally selected that topic because so you have heard it 20 times. So I knew that is not going to inspire you that much. But when I saw Tejo, Hiranmai, Isha, so literally for these three people I spoke, not for Vijay, not for Radha, not for Raji, not for Jigal. I heard it 100 times, but Tejo, she's going to get a kick out of that. Isha, she's going to really feel inspired. It can change your whole life. I mean, at the age of 13, 14, 15, if it really hits you. So you can educate your children or grandchildren. That's the whole purpose. I'm not saying it is not applicable to you. Of course it is. Don't get me wrong. So when your mind is on the present task, two things happen. You enjoy life, and also you become productive because you are calm, you are composed. So you become very efficient. Naturally, you become successful. So you get more of everything, whether you want it or not, things are added on to you. So everything is surplus as far as you are concerned. So it is a win-win situation. But if you don't follow this, then that negative trait is, then you are victimized by your selfish desires whole life. And right from the young age, it starts. You fulfill your indiscriminate desires by borrowing. This is what is happening. It starts from the age of 19, 20, Even the education. By the time youth is 17, 18, 19, he is buried under $500,000 loan or whatever it is. See, based on your merit, you will get admission in any college or university. It's not necessary you have to go to the most expensive school or college. That's the misconception. If you have that kind of funds, you go. There's nothing wrong. But that does not mean only if I go to Ivy League school, I will be successful, not otherwise. There's so many examples. In fact, Many of the great scientists, they did not even go to school. Forget about Ivy League school. Now, Herbert Spencer, he was not a graduate of any university. You know? See, even the current CEO of Google is an Indian guy. He's not a product of any, I mean, he didn't go to IIT or something. He went to, I think, that college in Manipur Institute or whatever it is called. I don't know. Pai Institute. It's a very famous college, engineering. I mean, maybe at level 2 or level 3 or something. But if you have the merit, I mean, what else you want? CEO of a company in a foreign country. I mean, whenever he came to America at the age of 25 something, I've seen youngsters, they're going to Ivy League schools or universities and destroying their life. Expensive private schools. I'm not saying it is right or wrong, I mean, if you feel it is required, if you can afford it, I mean, fine. But that's not what is happening. You finance. Parents, they want to finance. They plant that thought. No, we will support. We will support. So they themselves may borrow and do that. So whole life you could do this. Borrow and fulfill your selfish desires. Better vehicle, better house, better vacation. So we're not saying it is wrong. If it comes to you, it should come to you organically. That's the whole point. Yes, you need a car in America. Without car, you cannot survive. But when you are 18, 19, you want to buy your first car. And why it has to be BMW or Audi, I mean, later on you can buy. Nobody is saying no. Yes, it is a marvelous piece of engineering. We all understand that. So organically, let it come to you. Like one of my close friend, so his son, when he turned 17, he got some job, part-time job he got. And one day his parents found him in a Lexus. He came home in a Lexus. That Lexus sports car. I mean, IS something it is called. So father asked him from whose car? He thought like friend's car or something. No, he said, I bought. You bought? Obviously, he financed it. Somewhere he was working McDonald's or Taco Bell or something like that. $300-400 per month he was earning. I mean, nothing. And $1,000, what do you call that, monthly payment. And in 4 months he lost a job. Then what happens to the car? That is where the whole thing started. My friend asked me, what should I do? Yes, it is your call. If you need to educate him for his own sake, let him return the car. Otherwise, he will never learn. There was a argument between husband and wife. No, we should. No, he has bought the car now. Okay, we will. I mean, they are quite well-to-do. So I said, it is your call. So what is it you want? You want your son to become a better human being, or so you have to educate him. And they took that advice. He returned the car. A lot of drama happened, but it is for educating the child. You get my point. This is where parents can educate, but for that, parents should have this knowledge. Otherwise, it is not possible. And then after he lost the car, again, my friend, he asked me, I mean, what is it? It obviously needs a car. I mean, 18, 19-year-old guy. I mean, genuinely, it was required in this case. Yeah, you can give some whatever down payment and buy him something. So they bought him, I don't know, some Toyota Prius or something like that. you know. This happened 8-9 years back. The same guy, he drives, last year I saw him, swanky car he's driving, but with his own money now. He bought it, you know. So we're not saying don't buy. Let it come to you organically and you enjoy whatever amenities you have. So it's quite fascinating, this portion in the book. So are we okay? Yeah, please continue.
Again, the feelings and emotions of the mind could develop a momentum and blow the cap of the intellect completely. Act very like the heat generated within a mountain which forms the lava and blows its peak off. Thereafter, hell is let loose. The burning lava surges forth, destroying everything around, finally forming ugly crusts on beautiful earth. Just so, the heat of passions gushing out blows the cap of intellect and destroys peace and harmony, forms revulsive attachment and possessiveness, ruining the magnificence of human life. This was the state of your predecessors. This is the state of the present generation around the world. And you tow along with them following a herd instinct. Instead, study the present predicament that the world faces. Do not allow your emotions form the crust of deadly attachment and possessiveness. Keep building your intellect to gain a perfect hold on your mind's activities.
See again how that self-centeredness functions at emotional level. So that is the explanation. So you become attached or possessive about objects and beings of the world. So in this case, we are talking about relationship. So it is a selfish, highly selfish emotion. You become possessive, like my child, my spouse, my this, my that. So it completely overpowers your whatever thinking capacity you have. That also goes out of the window. And when you lose your intellect, we are talking about when you become possessive. When you lose your intellect, such a person is called what? What he or she is reduced to.
Insane person.
Well, a mad person is insanity. This is a definition of insanity. To the extent you lose usage of your intellect, to that extent you are insane. And if you carefully observe, good many parents are absolutely insane when it comes to how they relate to their children. That aspect we are talking about. Totally possessive. Same thing is applicable between spouses also. Attached, totally possessive. So there is no peace, there is no harmony in a relationship. It leads to conflicts. Eventually, it will lead to separation. So sooner or later, it will catch up with you, this attachment. It's like a cancer. Cancer is a silent killer, you know. Externally, you don't see anything wrong in a person, at least in the initial stages, you know. But from inside, literally, it is eating you up. That is cancer, you know, all those cells, they start eating even the good cells. So it tears you apart from inside. And there are no takers for this, you know. we may talk and talk. Who is going to listen to this? Forget about application. I am talking about people who are associated with this knowledge. They may appreciate this knowledge, they may follow this knowledge. Most I'm talking about, exceptions are always there. But you find out when it comes to children, they're like insane. Mother is insane, father is insane. I mean, what that particular aspect. So if it is happening to you, you must correct yourself. We discuss on these lines so that you become aware. So if you are victimized by this possessiveness, it's like a disease. It is harmful not only to you, also to others. In fact, more to others. I mean, eventually it will bring it will bring about downfall of both the parties. So many homes we see, the parents and children, they don't talk to each other, or when they talk, they scream at each other. You know, possessiveness. You don't let go. And again, there are so many examples. From Ramayana, like Dasharatha example is there. See, they are meant to educate us. Even if you're not from India, it doesn't matter. All these are epics, and all these stories. They are the moral of the story is fantastic. Rama's father, Dasharatha, uh, we have mentioned this many times. He was not an ordinary person. Dashratha meaning one who has conquered all his senses. No? Dash is 10, Ratha who has conquered. So he was a very, very fine human being. But he had that weakness. He was attached to his older son, Rama. So that brought about his downfall. So he died of Putra Shoka. Putra means son, Shoka means sorrow. So he died because of Putra Shoka. When Lord Rama, he was sent into the forest for how many? 13 years or 12 years?
14.
14 years, Vanvas, forest life. His stepmother plotted against him, Kaikai. She was a good woman, but she was poisoned by her maid, Mantra, no? So again, it's a story. You may be a good person, but somebody may poison you if you don't use your intellect. That's what it means. By nature, she was a very good person, in fact, Lord Rama's mother, Kaikai. But that maid, Mantra, she went on, putting slow poison day in and day out. So all these are pearls for us, as far as our education is concerned. So Dashratha, Rama's father, he could not stand that separation. So he died. Literally he died because of Putra Shoka. Now you see this happening in the world. It's not just a story. It is happening to every other person. So many complaints I have heard, my children, they don't call me, my children, they don't call me. And they will not call you because you're not leaving them alone. You leave them alone, they will call you. That's the problem. So it's a deadly quality, attachment or possessiveness. It's a selfish emotion. Are you with me? You want to possess that individual. He is my possession, she is my possession. So it is all about you. It's not about other person. What he or she wants, you are not capable of thinking. So therefore, it's a negative trait. And then next paragraph, he talks about the ego.
Fundamentally, you cannot find peace and happiness unless you renounce the self-asserting ego and egocentric desires. unless you drop the idea of I and my, me and mine. Edward Carpenter, an Englishman of spiritual experience, asserts, "Never before could I have believed it, but I see it all now. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself, but you must not do it by halves. While even there is the least grain of self left, it will spoil it all. You must just leave it all behind and vouchsafe the personality and mind that much sympathy as to any stranger, no more, no less. Hence, must you set aside your corroding ego and banish your egocentric attachments and desires. Do not let the mass of selfishness around and about you influence your personality. Get off the deadly hook of selfishness and learn to serve, sacrifice for the community at large. You would need to develop a strong intellect to combat and destroy the ego and its devastating tentacles.
See, if you understand this, you have understood Vedanta. Otherwise, you may study and study and study and not get the gist of what these great masters they are telling us. So, your spiritual growth is measured by what? The direct cause and effect relationship. Your spiritual growth or being spiritual means what?
Identification with all living beings, feeling oneness with all living beings.
Correct. But my question is specific, right? You're not wrong, but what are we discussing here, Rajni? What concept are we discussing?
We are discussing about ego.
Correct. So
That's
answer has to be in line with what?
ego.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Be inclusive of everything.
See, again, same. Answer is not wrong, but what are we discussing here? What is the paragraph telling us?
About the ego.
Correct. So your spiritual growth is measured by what?
How much ego you have or how little you have.
Excellent. So it is your spiritual growth means reduction of ego. It's very simple definition. Elimination of ego is a state of self-realization. But to begin with, you have to reduce your ego. That's what Edward Carpenter is telling us. So try to memorize that quote. It's fascinating. I mean, how many times we remind ourselves of this quote, isn't it? So you need to reduce your ego, and eventually you need to eliminate it. Elimination of ego is a very high state, which is a state of self-realization or God realization. But there is so much of focus on one's personality. In fact, all the focus is on your personality, period. It's not so much. All the focus is on this just me all the time. Me and my problems. Me and my achievements. Me and my enjoyments. Me and my family. Me and my grandchildren. Me and my great-grandchildren. Then you come to spiritual path. Me and my spiritual growth. That's it. I'm not growing, still I get angry, still I get worked up, still I, do this, still I do that. It's all about me. There are 100+ genders Last 3, 4 years, 5 years, we all are learning. Before that, there was only man and a woman. That itself is too much. Man is fighting with a woman, woman is fighting with a man. I. On top of that, there are 100 plus, 200 plus genders. In the official form, you need to fill. Imagine you and I applying for, we are used to male, female. Now, what is my gender? Also, there is a provision not yet decided.
My God.
Look at the society. What is, to what extent this that ego has ruined everything, literally. See, 10 or 12 years back, we had a 3 or 4 part lecture series at somebody's house. Somebody was hosting, small audience, but very, very sincere they were. Maybe like 25, 30, or I think more were there. And it was organized by a group of ladies. So 3 to 4 of them were class members. Then they are part of some kitty party or something like that. I think it was more. They had rented some, what do you call this, in a library rooms which we rent, something like that. Community center. Yeah, I remember now. So I think there were 45, 50 people. So it was meant to be ladies only event. But then some of the ladies, they said, can we bring our spouses? So I said, yeah, of course. Why not? So maybe there were like 35 ladies and maybe 10 men were there. And I started the lecture, whatever the topic was. It was a 5 part lecture series. I think 20 qualities of a spiritual person, something like that. One lady, abruptly, she stopped me. She raised her hand. I said, there is a time for Q&A at every session, end of every session. There is time. No, I have a problem. What is the problem? I said, yes, ma'am. Is Vedanta for women? This was a question. Are women allowed? To which I said, you count how many women are here. And then you tell me, rather than I answering your question. And every lecture she will bring in. It is a man's world. Why women are like this? Why it is happening? Absolutely unrelated. I mean, what we are discussing about life is to give. And suddenly, can man do this? Can woman do this? Whatever. So finally, I told my host who had organized, on the 4th day, I mean, she's disturbed. I think if she comes on the last day, I don't know what will happen. Tell her to calm down. All lectures she disturbed. There's so much of, see, man can do that. It just happened. Therefore, I'm giving you that example. So much of ego that I am woman, or I am man, I am man. Who are you? You're a human being. It's like wave is going on, asserting its personality, which it doesn't have to begin with. It is nothing but the ocean. It has assumed a personality which it doesn't have. Therefore, that I am wave of this size, that size. On top of that, you are going on further asserting that personality. So, can you imagine what damage you are doing? Ignorance. So much focus you could have. But I'm a man. You could have that. It's called as male ego. Woman also may have that, the female ego, destroying the peace, your own peace. Forget about others' peace. So that is where that Edward Carpenter is saying, the moment any thought of I or my comes, you're digging your grave. He's saying you cannot be a peaceful person after that. As long as even a drop of ego, ounce of ego is there, you cannot be peaceful. And we are saturated with what? We are saturated with what?
Ego.
I, my. There is nothing beyond that. So that undue focus on one's personality. And then you continue with that undue focus. Positively, negatively. Positively, I, me, my success, my achievement, my this, my enjoyment, my acquisition. Negatively, my problems, my sorrow, my this, my misery, It's still it's all I. So the moment any thought of I comes, it agitates your mind. It's a law of life. You drop that ego, everybody will flock to you. That's the beauty. See why we love children, age group 3, 4, 5. The moment you see a child, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, anybody's child, anybody will go and plug the cheek, Please don't do that in America. I'm just giving you that as an example. I had made that mistake long time back. And 20 years back in Canada, one teacher, she invited me, to give a talk to not even 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old. Something you must tell them stories or something, it was difficult for me. How do you talk to such like tiny tots? But some stories and cute little children. So I was plucking everybody's cheek, And she was a Canadian lady, white lady, After 15, 20 minutes, she took me aside and she said, I know, we all feel like doing that, but you could get into serious trouble. Anybody could file complaint against you as a pedophile. First time I heard that word, of course I had heard it, but I said, oh my God, But I'm talking about as a concept. Why you feel like plucking any child's cheek, Why? Why everybody flocks to a child?
There's no ego.
There's no ego. Ego is there, but it's not yet developed. Slowly it starts manifesting. And when it is fully manifest, it is you and me, all of us. Everybody runs away from us. If you drop that ego, the whole world will flock to you. And that's what he's telling, get off this deadly hook of selfishness and learn to serve, sacrifice for the community at large. It's all about I, my. Recently we had some discussion, question and answer session. And people, when I said that, you have to have a higher ideal in life. They're not able to understand that. How can I give up my family and work for? How can I identify with my job, my company? Remember, it's it's nothing to do with again. Don't try to find out who said that. I could have said that. Okay, it becomes easy as a concept we are doing. Trying to understand. So in your own profession, you have to serve the community. You don't have to do anything different. Everybody has a talent. You could be in IT, you could be in medicine, you could be in law, whatever is your talent. Society needs all these different talents. So with that attitude, you have to function. Whatever I'm doing is for the communities, for the society. You don't have to do anything different. So many of us are associated with this knowledge. I'm talking about those who have been, like sincerely following it. How many of you have thought of introducing this knowledge to your friends, to your colleagues, to your family members? I'm not talking about promoting Vedanta. How can you not help others is my point. And I know some of you are doing it 24/7. We have such people also in our Vedanta family. Every human being is suffering because of ignorance, lack of this knowledge. Problems could be million, 10 million, 1 billion. Root cause is only one, that they don't have the knowledge of higher values. And mind has overpowered the intellect, and every aspect of life is messed up for most people. So how can you not try to reach out to people? I'm not saying forcing this knowledge on them. I'm not talking about that. See, the thought itself should be there all the time. How can I help others? How can I help others? Otherwise, me and my growth is nothing. You may do e-learning, you may give answers, all that discussions can go on. Nothing will happen. It's all about I, my. The sign is, do you want to help the community? That's what Swamiji told me initially. I was reluctant to leave Vedanta Academy. Room and board is there, all the comforts are there. You don't have to worry about everything. He said, it's your obligation to go and serve. He said, yes, you can stay here as long as you want. But end of the day, you need to serve the community. So are we okay?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, every other sentence is a concept. So basically you need to think
Yeah.
about it. So what we'll do,
Mm.
let's quickly read, what's the time? We have 4 or 5 minutes. So let's read the 2 paragraphs of the next topic, scrutinize your person. So if it is going more than 3 to 4 minutes, Raji, then only first paragraph, but few extra minutes are okay because we have 5 sessions left before I leave for India. I'm not going to rush, but no, I would like to complete in the next 5 sessions. But if required, even from India, 1 or 2 classes we will have definitely. So please.
Okay.
Scrutinize your person. The 3 types of living species in the world are the plant, animal, and human. Each species has a distinct and different character. A plant has movement within itself, but it cannot move from one place to another. A rose plant will die if it has no water at its roots. There may be a pond of water a few meters away, but the plant cannot help itself. Animals enjoy more mobility and freedom than plants, yet they are very much dependent upon the world. A tiger cannot turn vegetarian if there is no game in the forest. Neither can a cow become a flesh eater if it is denied fodder. However, birds and fishes are known to migrate thousands of miles to seek food and shelter. Nevertheless, the freedom of animals is restricted, confined to certain levels. In contrast to the 2 species, humans alone are designed to be totally self-sufficient. With the use of the intellect, they can combat and overcome the worst challenges of nature confronting them. Ironically, with the lack of development of the intellect, humans have become helpless victims of the external world, and they are infested with sorrow and suffering even more than the other species.
Let's pause,
The
Raji.
world is constituted.
So that's the next topic, scrutinize your person. Is very interesting analysis.
It is good.
So anything from today's class is bothering you, not clear, or you want more explanation?
No, it's clear. Edward Carpenter is clear. Everything.
Sorry, did somebody say something?
She was saying something.
It's clear.
Oh, welcome.
Edward Carpenter cleared everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Amitji, if next time you can speak on, there's another ego, which is spiritual ego. And most of the time, the spiritual seekers have more ego than the commoners. And so if you can speak on that, subconsciously, I think when you're on this seeking path, somewhere down, you have that, little bit superiority complex comes in. And if you can just speak about that, I think that would be really helpful.
No, I already covered it. Ego is ego. There is no such thing called as spiritual ego, worldly ego. There is no such thing. If you go by the definition, undue focus on one's personality, that is ego, which covers everything. I am superior. It could be because of you have scholastic knowledge of scriptures, or you may be PhD, you may be whatever. Undue focus on one's personality, that is the definition of ego. Either positively or negatively. I understand your question. Positively, yes, you may have certain positive qualities, but if you glorify them, if your focus is on that, it is nothing but the ego. Another person may have negative qualities, or may feel inferior to others. So you have to go to the definition. It will dissolve all your doubts. Ego is nothing but undue focus on one's personality, on one's body, mind, and intellect. So you're arrogating that to yourself. This is me, this belongs to me. So is that arrogating principle. So that covers everything. So there is no such thing called as this ego, that ego. Ego on your personality, which covers everything. So that's what I said in the beginning. Me and my problems, me and my achievements, me and my family, me and my spiritual growth. I've written it down here. I'm reading from my notes.
Thank you.
So therefore, we know spiritual ego means no spirituality. That was the definition. What spiritual? Spiritual ego equals ignorance. To take out the word spirituality. Spirituality means no ego or reduction of ego. So anybody who has ego of his or her spirituality, he is not spiritual. Where is the spirituality to begin with? पोथी पढ़ के पंडित बनाना कोई, you know that from
Yes,
India. धाई अक्षर प्रेम का.
पढ़े सो पंडित होए.
I mean, what? It could apply to all of us,
Yes.
So it's a straightforward concept.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Amitji.
Thank you, Amitji.
Yeah. See you next week.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Amitji.
Thank you, Amaji.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.